guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to put racing fairings on the R1. Let's go! Yes, let's start to unbox these packages. Let's start on the top. Some of you may already know this brand, WRS. It's an Italian company and makes loads of cool stuff, but they are especially known from their windscreens. This is a clear windscreen. Here it is. And this windscreen has no distortion at all when looking through the windscreen. So therefore I bought this one. But then we got this big box. This big box is from Tovami. It's a Dutch company and they make loads of different track fairings for all kinds of bikes. And they are kind enough to send me one big box of fairings for my R1, because we are gonna do a very unique track build. So then we got, I think this is a side fairing. Okay. This is the first side fairing. It's unpainted, so it's raw material. So as you can see, we still have to drill a hole over here, but the rest really nice. Also with some fast connectors, so that's really useful. And we got another side fairing, also looks very nice. And we got, I think this is the tank cover, the front tank cover. And yes, it is. Nice. Okay, what's more? Oh, this is a really small part. This is the air tunnel. Yes, the air tunnel. Then we got really heavy. I think this is the seat. Ah, look. Nice. This is the seat. Feels really strong. Oh, you can also quick release the seat. So that's also really useful. Nice foam seat with in-branded Tovami logo. Yes, this looks really sick. Then this is the rear part. Nice big assembly. And then the seat goes in here. I think something like this. I don't know. I have no idea, but we'll find out later. And then we got the bottom fairing, the belly pan. It's massive. Look how wide this is. Nice. And I think we only have one part left. That's the front panel. Nice. So we had to grab another box, because in this box there is this piece. And in the fairings kit we just unboxed, there was only a front piece of the tank. And I want a full tank cover. So this one has also the endurance style higher front part of the tank. So let me grab it real quick. As you can see, this is what it looks like. We still have to mill out these gaps over here and give it a nice little paint. But yeah, this is the tank cover we are gonna use. And then we got the winglets, and these ones have been scanned from the OEM winglets, and these have been 3D printed, so they are low cost when I crash the bike or something, or they get damaged. They are not as expensive as the real carbon ones, so for the track this is perfect. And of course we got two of them, one for the left and one from the right. So let's start disassembling the R1, so we can install the new race fairings. Let's go! Alright, as you can see, the whole rear subframe is fully stripped from the fairings. So now we can move over to the tank and then onto the front part. Alright, tank is stripped. Let's move over to the side fairings. So basically all fairings have been removed from the bike except the headlight unit. I also want to remove the headlight unit because this will be easier for mounting the race fairings. This is not a big job, so I'm gonna just disconnect the wires from the headlights, the bolts, and take out the headlight unit. So we're back again. The whole headlight unit is disassembled. We now only have some loose wires hanging over here, including these fuse box and side module connector and some blinker connectors. So we're gonna zip tie this all together so it's nice in one package, and then we're gonna test fit the race fairings. For now, this is how the bike looks, fully stripped and ready to convert to a full track bike. So the first piece we're gonna try on is the rear part. It should be easy to slide it on just like this, but it needs to go a little bit more further inside. But I think the bracket from the exhaust is being the problem at the moment. So I'm gonna disassemble the silencer mount and then try again. All right, the bracket is off, so let's try again. Slides on way better, and as you can see it almost lines up with the bolt hole, and also on the bottom here it almost lines up. But what I noticed is that this piece from the old ABS lines is being the problem at the moment, but I don't want to cut this off because I want to get the bike back to stock if I want to. So I'm just gonna grind a groove over here so it will slide besides this piece. Alright, we have cut out the bottom part of the fairing, and it now got plenty of room, even too much room if you ask me. But now it's touching over here, and therefore this bolt hole will not line up with the fairing, so we need to mill off a little bit here on the bottom as well. So let me do that real quick. So as you can see, we have milled off quite a bit on this piece, and it now fits very well. It's really rough at the moment, but I will fine-tune this at the end. But now this lines up pretty good, and the bolt holes over here also line up pretty good. But before we're gonna do that, we also have to keep in mind this also need to go somewhere over here. So I marked a couple lines, and I think we have to cut out this whole section of the fairing and just skip this part, go up, and then cut out this whole piece. Otherwise this bracket will not fit. So as you can see, I've cut out the part where the bracket needs to go. As you can see, now the bracket fits nice inside this gap. Fitted the exhaust bracket and also drilled out all the holes, and they are lining up pretty good. Also made some holes over here for the click pins, just like the OEM. I think the tailpiece is done for now. Everything has nice space for all the extra components. So I think we now move on to the seat. So this is the seat. As you can see, nice foamy and really strong on the bottom. And I don't know if you can see it, but the foam seat can be removed from the plastic piece. So we need to do that now before we're gonna install the plastic piece. And to remove the foam piece, it's installed with 4 fast connectors. I had to use both hands, but it's off. As you can see, it has a nice gap, so we can get to the battery or some electronics down there. So this fairing is going on these 4 bolt holes, as you can see. You can also see them in the fairing. And we also have to drill out the holes for them. So that's what we're going to do now. So all the holes have been drilled, and some look prettier than the others. But yeah, that's what you get when you are making something fit that you have to drill yourself. But I think it looks quite good because it's also beneath the seat, so you don't really see it. But let's install the bolts. And just like that, the foam seat is also installed. It's looking really raw at the moment, but trust me, the end result will be sick. I think we should put back the tank and then move on to the front. So now it's time for the full tank cover. This is really easy to install, and this will just go over the stock tank, and then we only have to drill 3 holes. As you can see, 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 in the front. Then it's basically good to go. And I'm going to install some foam inside of the tank cover to protect the aluminum tank from getting damaged, of any vibrations from this tank cover while riding. But first, let me drill the holes for this tank cover. So all holes have been drilled, and as you can see, I made also this little aluminum piece. This is also used on stock fairings, and this makes sure that you don't squeeze the plastic when you're tightening the bolt. So now we can use the OEM aluminum bushing and the OEM bolt to fit the tank cover. So let's do the same thing on the other side and move over to the front bolt. So on the stock fairings, the front piece over here is fitted with a rubber and a bushing. This to catch all the vibrations of the tank cover. So I made the hole as big as the one from stock. So now we put in this rubber and put in the bushing and put in the bolt. So, and as you can see, it fits perfectly, just like OEM. So now the tank cover is also installed, and the fitment of this one is pretty dang good. So with the seat on, it will look like this. So now it's time for the front fairing of the bike. So I just slided on the front fairing using the rubber intake instead of the plastic one, just to see if it works. And from my first perspective, it looks like it's going to work. And to fit this front panel, I think we're gonna use the holes for the mirrors and copy them. So we can just bolt in a bolt over here and over there, and then it will basically be good, because it will all come together when the side fairings are also on the bike. So the next step is making the windscreen fit inside the front fairing. But I'm really hard thinking on what to choose, because I got here a official real World Superbike windscreen from my buddy Bionic Biker from England. He was kind enough to send out this windscreen. But the problem with this windscreen is that it does not really fit inside a stock racing fairing, because yeah, we are not using the factory race fairings because they are expensive as shit. So therefore I was hoping this would fit very well, but it doesn't. It fits quite good, but here on the edges the windscreen is too short because the shape of the front panel is different. So what I've done, I took a stock WRS clear windscreen and just put it over the one from the World Superbike, marked out the ventilation holes over here and the edge on the top, and basically made the same one, but this one fits this fairing way better because this one is meant to be for this fairing. Really want to use this one because yeah, it's a real World Superbike windscreen, but I think I'm gonna use this one. The down part on this situation is that I already drilled the holes for the World Superbike windscreen because I really wanted to see how it looked. But unfortunately we have to drill new holes for the stock windscreen. Before we're gonna paint this, we have to fill in these holes just to make it look better. But yeah, that's why there are 6 holes in the fairing at the moment, and there will be 4 more for the other windscreen. But again, these will be filled up. So this is how it looks with the real World Superbike windscreen. As you can see, it doesn't really line up with the stock fairings. So the other windscreen is in the fairing. As you can see, it lines up way better over here and way better over here. But as you can see, we still have to fix the extra drilled holes to get the best look on the bike. But for now, it looks quite good. I've torqued down the fairing here with a small nut, so this will stay in place. So now we can focus more on the side and on the belly pan. So let's get started with that. So big step ahead. I put the whole right side panel on and I mounted the belly pan just to see how it would fit. I already see some adjustments we have to make. And the first one is over here. This inner piece is touching the fork leg, so we need to trim this a bit. Then we need to trim over here, because this is really tight on the bike. And because I run these crash pads, this is not fitting really good at the moment. It looks like it fit, but it's really tight. Then we move over to over here. As you can see, this needs to be pushed in, but as you can see, the exhaust is holding it back. We need to trim this too. First, we will start working on this and the inside of this panel and work our way down. So I've grinded out the bottom part of the fairing over here. So now we got nice clearance around the frame. I drilled this hole over here and made it just how it is on the stock fairings. So with a rubber grommet and a steel bushing inside of it. So it will absorb all the vibrations and looks OEM. Last thing we did was fix the clearance at the fork leg. So this is also fixed. So now we can basically fit the first winglet on this side and then go to the other side for the other fairing. So here's the first 3D printed winglet, and this one will go over here. So now I'm gonna mark out the holes for the winglet, drill them and attach the winglet to this fairing. So all the holes for the winglet have been drilled. Let's install the winglet. And just like that, the right winglet is on the bike. Looks really good already. Very nice. I think it's time to move on to the other side and do the other side panel. And the last piece will be the belly pan, because we need both sides to measure out where the bolt holes need to go. So let's turn the bike around and then start working on the left side. The left side is also on the bike, and also this fairing needs some adjustments. First one is also over here. This needs a little bit more space for the axle slider, and also the inner piece needs to be trimmed. So this piece will be cut off, so we got more space for the forks. And then it's time to put on the winglet. So another update. We fixed the bottom issue with the crash protection. This one has been made fit. Then we made this bottom section fit. We cut out this edge that we marked in the previous shot. And then I drilled this hole bigger. So this fits also like OEM. And then I saw this piece, and as you can see, it doesn't really line up with this piece of the fairing. So I thought, why not cut off this corner piece, and then it will maybe look more in line with the bodywork. So that's what I'm gonna do next, and also drill the holes for the winglet. So in the next shot, winglet on, body line fixed. Let's get to work. And just like that, winglet is on, left side fairing is on, and the body line is now following the rest. So now it's time for the belly pan. So let's grab that real quick. So here it is, the massive unit of a belly pan. A lot of you guys asked me to put this on my street fairings, but I never did it. But now for the track, maybe it's going to look really cool now. We shall see. First, let's try to stick it on the bike. So I was trying to mount the belly pan, and I found the problem that it is really hard to reach these fast connectors. And I found out that it's touching the bottom of the radiator over here. So we need to cut off quite a bit of this upper part of the belly pan and then try again. We also have to make a cutout for the exhaust pipe. So that's what we're gonna do too. And then we will see how the belly pan fits afterwards. The belly pan is on. We have trimmed off quite a bit from the belly pan over here, and as you can see, it is still a tight fit, so it was really necessary to cut off that excess material. But now it fits nice on this side, but also on this side. That's really nice that we made a huge step in that, but now it doesn't really line up over here. So I think I'm gonna cut this edge of the belly pan too, so this body pedal will line up more with the belly pan. All right, we fixed the front part of the belly pan. We also cut out a bit from the belly pan for the exhaust, but as you can see, it is still touching, and this bolt hole is still not lining up because it's touching over here. So I'm gonna cut this out even more, and let's see if it fits any better afterwards. So this side is done. I drilled the hole for the fast connector of the belly pan. Also drilled the hole for this fast connector. Then I made the exhaust gap way bigger, and now it's not touching anymore. So that's perfect. And the other side, I still have to drill this hole, and also have to drill this hole for the fast connector of this piece. And then I'm thinking about what to do with the belly pan over here, because from the street we got, of course, the side stand, but I want to leave it on so I can put it on the side when we're basically out of the track and we want to put it down real quick. I find it really easy and really useful, so that's why I want to keep it. But then I'm thinking of how we're gonna cut this so this can still be functional. So let me think about that, and I will come up with a solution for you guys. So I'm thinking to cut off this part. I've looked from this angle, and from what I can see, if we cut this part, the stand will be able to fall down. Let's cut off this piece, and then let's see if it works. So we have cut off the piece, and now you can see that the kickstand can fall down without touching the belly pan. So that's perfect. Only thing we now have to do is drill this hole and grind out this piece. So it looks good if we just mill out this piece. So it looks more OEM. So a little bit of trimming further, but everything is on the bike and it fits really good at the moment. So the only thing we now have to do is fine detail the fairings so they look nice and clean. All the edges look clean. Also, we need to mill out these gaps over here, because that looks way better if they are see-through. So for now, it looks almost ready to go to the Stickermaster. So I took off the tank cover, milled out the ventilation holes over here. Now we have to clean them up with a file. So this is how it looks now. This looks way better than when it's closed. Let's do the other side too and put it back on the bike. All right, bike is back together. Tank cover is back on, seat is back on. As you can see, the front ventilation is also done. So now it's time for some sanding and painting it black. And after that, it will go to the Stickermaster. Let's go. And as you can see, we are already working on the fairings, sanding them down. And also, this fairing has been repaired. And as you can see, all the holes have been filled up. The damage on the top has been fixed. So now the only thing we have to do is sand these epoxy spots down, create the shape in them again and drill the hole. All fairings have been sanded down. And as you can see, I made a little painting room so we can paint the fairings. So for a good bond with the fairings, I'm using a 2-component primer. So this has a hardener inside. With this cap we have to crack open the capsule inside this spray can, and then the hardener will mix up with the primer. So we let this heat up as well and then put in the hardener and then start painting. Let's go. So all parts have been painted in the primer. So now it's time for the color. So let's start spraying. So all fairings have been painted. As you can see, they're laying down here on the floor in their fully gloss clear coat. So now they're basically ready to go back on the bike. So in this photo, you can see that I chose to also paint the inside of the fairing. I did this because on the front of the bike you can see a little bit of the inside of the fairing. And as you can see on this side, you can see some white paint dust, and yeah, that doesn't really look good. So therefore I painted also the full inside of the fairings matte black. So this will also look more factory. And I'm also gonna do that with the rear wings, because you can also see the inside of this fairing really good. So when this looks matte black, it will look clean and a little bit more factory. So in the next shot you will see the whole bike back together. Just like that, the bike is fully back together with the racing fairings on it. And I'm quite happy with how it turned out. This is basically the base layer for the design. The fitment is pretty good. Paintwork looks decent. Could be better, but for a home job it looks pretty good. So now it's time to load up the bike and bring it to Stickermastermoto to get the bike measured up and get the decals printed. So we arrived at Stickermastermoto. We're gonna pick up the bike. The decals are all ready, and the only thing we have to do is stick them on the bike. So we're gonna load the beast up and start wrapping. Yes guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the build series of the Trackbike. And as you can see, the bike turned out amazing. Special thanks to Tovami for providing me the fairings for the bike. Special thanks to Stickermastermoto for doing the wrap on the bike. And special thanks for World of Motos for getting me these amazing fairings for the bike as well. So, see you guys in the future.